game. Blouses.
Gallon chuck.
Disaster.
Spaghetti.
Disaster.
Well, I mean, I'm no doctor.
We now join America's most popular show, already in progress. Everybody loves
Mitch and Sean. You guys are the greatest duo.
Fantastic.
That team sure did suck last night. They just plain sucked. I've seen teams suck before, but they were the suckiest bunch of sucks that ever sucked.
Welcome into another edition of the Post Game Pints podcast. Campbell and Gallo with you, and we are brought to you by LaBrosse Brewery. Of course, you can go get your Campbell Play-by-Play IPA, your Angry Gallo Ale. I don't know. I'm excited about this episode, Mitch, and I know that you're excited. I've been seeing friends and on social media. I've been seeing pictures that they're sending us on Instagram of people buying the Angry Gallo Ale, the Campbell Play-by-Play IPA, and I mean they're just going and picking up as much as they can now. This is awesome. I'm seeing more and more as time has evolved over at LaBrosse Brewery.
Yeah, and I hope it continues, Sean. I'm having an Angry Gallo Ale right now. It is fantastic. I know you were at LaBrosse not too long ago. It looks like our pallets of beer are starting to dwindle. So I can't wait till everything is knocked right off the shelves and they have to start brewing a second batch because sometimes I need a little kick. Mine has coffee in it, and we're ready to go. We're fired up here. Let's go.
Yeah. So go check out LaBrosse.com for your Campbell Play-by-Play IPA, your Angry Gallo Ale, but also Super Bowl's not that long ago. Not long. It's about a week away, less than a week away. They have Super Bowl specials where you're going to get a whole case of beer, a mix of everything at LaBrosse. So make sure you pick that up for your own personal Super Bowl party. We can't throw parties, but you can throw a party for yourself at home. Check out their hours at LaBrosse.com. All right, Mitch, what do we got on tap today here on the Post Game Pints podcast? Another guest, a great guest.
Yeah, Sean, and we've had some terrific guests so far on the Post Game Pints podcast, but our next one is a good friend and somebody that I think both of us go way back. You maybe a little bit further back than me, but of course, we remember him from his time with the Team 990 and, of course, his time in the NHL as well. He's in a very brightly lit room, and he's got a bright Boston Bruins jersey on, and his name's PJ Stock. What's going on, PJ?
All right, boys. How are you? Hey, is it bright? I know I got a little too bright. I can unbright it. I just wanted to make sure you saw while I was dressed.
Yeah. You're all sunshine, man.
Yeah. Sunshine.
Also, I know a little. Want me to unsunshine it?
No, whatever you're comfortable with. I don't.
You guys can look at the
It
pictures.
just makes him look really pasty.
Yeah. I think everybody's pasty. No one gets outside anymore.
Yeah, it's true.
Anymore. It's great. Hey, I love that jersey.
Thanks, boys. I thought I'd get dressed up. I have an important thing to do here before.
Okay.
I can't listen to the two of you guys sober. So my idea is I have the Campbell Power Play or the Angry Gallo, and I don't know which one to start with. So I don't know.
Easy choice, PJ. Start with the Gallo.
The Angry Gallo. Why is there like a mad cock on this? It is, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is, man. Perfectly represents me. But start with that one because it has some coffee in it, so it's going to get you revved up, and then you can move on to the Campbell Ale.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ever?
I'm in.
You look at the rooster. You notice what's under his chin? It looks like something else. Great graphic design. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, boys. Your Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
What happened?
What happened to the Packers?
What happened?
Oh man, I don't even know if I'm ready to talk about it yet.
I just don't like it. I've been following sports for a bunch of years. We all have, and we all think we kind of know what's right and what's wrong. And the last couple of years have been kind of altered a little bit with analytics that have kind of taken over on some sports decisions. And I looked at the end of the Packers game, and I'm thinking you have probably one of the best players of the last 20 years with the ball in his hands, with a chance to tie. Worst case scenario, you don't score, but the other team gets, Tampa Bay gets the ball on their own 6-yard line.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was, Instead, they kick a field goal, which means they still have to score a touchdown with a couple minutes remaining anyways. It made zero sense. And now your boy Aaron Rodgers might be gone. So
he's not going anywhere. Now here's the thing. Now
saying.
I'm with you. They should have let him play, because they would have had to get the ball back either way. Because you don't score, you're down by 8. You score, you're down by 2. You have to score and get 2 points conversion to be a tie game, and then you're still not in the league because it was an 8-game point. And
Sure.
And I have been always in the philosophy of letting your best players decide. Mitch knows that. I coach the pitching coach for the Caribous. I always want the best players to be the one throwing the ball at the end of the game. And I flash back to when Pedro was on the mound. Remember they left him in too long? Way
Grady
back
Little.
in the playoffs?
Grady Little, man.
But here's the thing. I was on Grady Little's side. That's what I was like, let your best player, and I know that's a different scenario, but I rather have the game on the line with your best player in the ball with the ball. And I know that Mason Crosby's a good kicker, but he's no Aaron Rodgers.
I like my Andrew Gallo so far.
All right.
I'll tell you, the only thing I'll add to that conversation is to play devil's advocate a little bit. What was Aaron Rodgers' red zone efficiency in that game? Was he 2 for 7 or 2 for 8?
Yeah. You know what? I just think I don't want to. I want to talk Canadians, and I'm kind of taking over your guys'. But you guys gave me beer, so it's not my fault. I was copying the beer. It's going to throw me completely off. But they also were one-sided. They kept throwing the ball to the same guy. I forget Adams.
Devontae Adams, yeah.
That was the only play they tried every time they were in the red zone. That was the only play they tried. It's like watching basketball and watch James Harden play.
Yeah.
It's like you have everyone else just kind of standing on the sideline, and the one play is just kind of trying to hit Adams. And if it doesn't work, we'll try again.
Well, he had 18 touchdowns all season long, and they were one of the best red zone teams all season long.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
You know what, though,
you have
boys?
3 shots. You would think one of the 3 you would have been able to complete.
I feel like if the Packers go for it on that play, they still lose the football game. And I think it's unfortunate that the conversation is about that one play, because I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were the better team regardless. So it almost makes me wish in some alternate universe they did go for the play, just so I could prove the fact that it's not the one play that ended up deciding the game. But
yeah,
I'm with you guys. For sure, they should have let Aaron Rodgers throw the damn ball.
All right.
I want to actually go beer for beer, because it's not fair that I don't like giving the Gallo any advantage to anything, and I'll let you guys take over. Want this.
He needs it.
I just want this to be side by side, so Campbell gets his due diligence here as you guys take over. Go ahead, boys. Yeah. I'm all dressed up. I look good. I'm double fisting. Let's go.
Title of the podcast. PJ
Happy Saturday.
Cheers, buddy.
I like the color.
Yeah, it's a solid beer. They're both really good, and we're both proud of what we've been able to do with LaBrosse. And again, check it out, labrosse.com and 133 LaBrosse in Point Claire. So, PJ,
good.
Yeah,
That's very good. That's very good.
So
why that face though?
Why that face? It's not power play. It's play by play. The PXP.
Play by play. That's right.
Play by play.
Sorry.
Slip
up.
Whenever Dan gets sick, I get to do. Whenever Dan gets sick, I get to do play by play. Or when he goes to the TV world, which you know well. You're at RDS. You lived in a bubble on CBC. You worked with us at TSN. You've been everywhere. So I want to start with the Canadians with you, PJ. And it's a very generic question, but it really doesn't make any sense. The city of Montreal, the fan base of the Montreal Canadiens, why do they love Marc Bergevin, or why do they hate? Why is there a love-hate relationship with general manager Marc Bergevin?
Well, it's kind of funny. I don't think anyone really loved him. Yeah, those are strong. They're both extremes, but I don't think anyone really loved him up until this year. I think, if anything, so we're in this business that we do, in the media business or whatever we call it. And, when someone takes over in the hockey world, and you have to try and go on and talk about them, and, as much as we like to say that we know everything about everybody, we just say that, but we really don't know anything about anybody. I called up a couple people when Marc Bergevin took over as a GM, and I can't tell you how many people said nothing but amazing things about him, like amazing things about him. I don't want to name drop guys that were his roommates, but are very good friends of mine, because that's one of my sources. But they say he's one of the best human beings, great teammate, great locker room guy, great everything. And he put the work in Chicago, and he comes to Montreal. And he comes to Montreal, and of course, anyone that's starting over a new job in a professional sports team, they're taking over from someone that just got fired. So the guy got fired because everything wasn't working. So you're taking over a crappy situation. So you got to give him time. And I think that I gave him the benefit of the doubt because there were so many people that I know him but didn't know him, but so many people said so many great things. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. He came in at the beginning and tried to change up the way things were with the Canadians. So just behind the scenes stuff, some locker room stuff where people parked, and that threw a few people off. But again, you kind of give the person the benefit of the doubt. And then year one doesn't go as well, but you give him 3 years. You kind of do give 3 years. And then year 4 hits in, and he's a good guy. Even though things aren't working out, he's now 5 and 6. I'm more surprised that people didn't turn on him more, because this team, if it took a pen for the Montreal Canadiens to make the playoffs and to get players that other teams couldn't afford. If you think about it, the situation that the Montreal Canadiens is because of salary cap situations that other teams are in, right? They had to move players, couldn't sign players. And it's just been, and now we love him because the Montreal Canadiens look spectacular. And it makes it look like his plan worked. It's 9 years later. And the problem is with this team is that you love them because the Canadians finally look like a team that's successful. You forget about the past. I'm worried that it's a short window that we're going to love them so much because I finally like what they have. But in 2 years, you're going to hate them again. I don't mean hate, strong term. You're going to be upset with them again because you won't be able to keep this team together because you haven't been able to draft properly in the last 8 years that he's been here. You've had to sign players. So you pay more for those players to come join your organization because you have to outbid some teams. So what you're going to have is right now is this, you didn't love them. You're in this love phase because it's great. And then you got what's coming up in 2 years. And I think it's going to go, it went like this. We're up here and I'm hoping we stay up there, but I got a feeling it's going to be short-lived because there's a chance this can get ugly quickly.
Well, quite the roller coaster. I imagine it's not easy to do any profession when you have such highs of highs and lows of lows. But PJ, you actually, if we focus on this year instead of jumping ahead 2 and 3 years down the road, if we look at this year, you went as far as to call the Canadians, your team. What's changed? What's different here? What's the biggest difference from this year's version of the Canadians to maybe the last 8 or so?
Nice jersey.
Well, I don't have a Habs practice. They got rid of me so quickly. I don't have much left from them. They got the right people. They're playing the right way. You could sell me I don't know how much swearing is on your podcast or not, but
whatever you want, man.
You can give me all the bullshit you want about it's a good locker room. I've been in so many sport locker rooms. I know what's a good locker room. And I know a good locker room and a successful locker room is when those guys that play a certain style are willing to sacrifice or do something different than their style for the betterment of the team. And the Canadians have been saying this for the last so many years. We're this, we're that, we're this. No, you're not. You've been shit and you've been soft. And you haven't been willing to make the sacrifices for a team to be successful. And you don't want to say that, but that's what it's been. And there's been 2 moments in my career. There's been a bunch, but where I'm sitting there and I see guys that do something, again, unfortunately for me, it's along the lines often of physicality, but that where guys step outside their box. It's not like where a physical player has to step outside his box and be an offensive player that he'd love to be. It's just not that way. But I remember 2 moments in my career where things were getting uglier and someone bumped into someone, and 2 guys that did it. One was Sergei Samsonov one night that dropped his gloves and got it. And the whole bench goes like, oh my, like you stand up. You're so excited. And the other one was Patrick Sharp. when we had a big situation. It was in Philadelphia as the minors, but it's two guys that will just don't do that ever. But they see someone on their team, something that gets happened, whatever, they say, I'm willing to do this. You don't push my team around. You don't do this. It's my buddy. It's my this. It's my teammate. It's my logo. And I think the Canadians haven't had that for a while. And it's early in the season, and I know they're scoring and all these things are going well. But for me, the moment that really stood out to me was when Myers hit Armia coming down the wing. And it's, say whatever you want about the hit. I'm not going to really get into that. But I just, two guys, Lehkonen, who's been here for a few years, didn't hesitate 1 second. He jumped on a guy that's 6'7", dropped his glove, and just and then there was Evans. It wasn't like a think about, like the last couple of years. It's been like, well, are you going or are you going or no? You just hit my guy. You cheap shot at him. That's not the way you. That's disrespecting our team. They jumped on him right away, and then that game ends. The next game, the start of the next game. In warm-up, you have Edmondson, who's a new guy to the team, which is changing some of that culture. In warm-up, he goes and sees the big boy and says, hey, it ain't over. And I love that. And I know there's craziness about the hockey gods and all that. And he sees them. The fight goes whatever. You never want to see anyone get hurt. It just finishes the right way to end that game off. He gets a goal. Edmondson gets a goal to end the game off. Like, it was like everything for me. And for me, that is the locker room of a team. And you need those little moments in a season to build on, And I think the Canadians got them really early. And I'm like, that's the stuff I'm behind. Like, I'm behind. They score. There's one thing about winning and losing. It's winning and losing the right way. And the Montreal Canadiens are doing it right now. So it's fine.
Yeah. It's funny you talk about that. And I've brought this up on the air at TSN 690. And I've had conversations with Mitch, and he knows how I feel. I hated that the team traded away Andrew Shaw for the reason that you just stated, because he was that player. It didn't matter what. Top guy, he could kind of play those roles. We knew he was hurt. We knew he had a big contract. I didn't even care about that. When they lost him, I was like, how are you going to fill that void? And they have. They have filled that void, like you said, with some new players, Ben Sherratt, Edmondson, and guys like Evans and Lehkonen just stepping up. But I thought that was going to be a void. It's been pleasant to see that has been filled.
I think the Shaw one, I cross my fingers. I understand the Shaw move a little, only because I think it's a little bit about his safety. I think he's one of those guys that's teetering towards the tail end of his career when it comes to the amount of times that he's suffered concussions. So, but yeah, you need a guy that's healthier than that to do that role. But it's not that role. It's that role that has to be contagious within the locker room. And sometimes
it's a mentality.
That guy's
he shares it. Yeah, he shares it.
Some guys it takes some guys to just be that guy that just, you go out and do it. And then the next guy does, and the next guy does. And I don't want to bring up Boston, but I will for a quick second. This was a team that I thought, I've been on a bunch of teams, some great teams. As I mentioned, the Canadiens, New Rangers, Flyers, some amazing teams. But the one thing about this team that I was on for a few years, just everyone got it. It was just one of those things that everyone just got it, from the first guy to the last guy. And everyone had a role, and everyone appreciated the other person's role. And the fourth line guy, which I love about the Montreal Canadiens this year, the fourth line role has changed, right? But the first line and the coach appreciate that fourth line's role just as much as they appreciate the first line's role. It's not like one of those, they come out, they get the momentum, and those guys that are on the bench that play so many minutes a night, it's hard sometimes to get yourself back going because you're tired. But you have moments on the ice, like hypothetically a hit or whatever by Lehkonen, and you're like, whoa, you get up, you start feeling the boys on the pad pumping each other on the bench, and it just gives life. And then the coaches get a little hop behind the bench and like, woo-hoo, and it goes. And I think you have that spread out throughout the Canadiens lineup this year. I think the young guys have, whether it's with the puck or the way they play on the back end with Romanov, young, but has that physicality aspect to him, and the swagger that some of the players have this year. It's fun to watch, and I think it's going to help them just so much longer.
You talk about that emotion and what it's like on the bench. It just always makes me think back to the moment in 2004 when LeCavalier drops the gloves with Jerome McGinley. I'm sure the jolt that the Tampa Bay Lightning must have gotten from that moment. And PJ, you mentioned Tyler Myers and Edmondson skating up and asking him for that fight in the pregame warm-up. You've been there, and it's something we don't see as much anymore, the planned fight before a game even starts. What's it like in the moment for those two guys, both the guy asking for the fight and the guy who knows he has to answer the bell, as somebody who's been there probably on both ends of it?
Well, two things happen. By the way, I'm not gonna lie. This is
Hey PJ, that's the picture that's going
good.
Up on Instagram too.
That's
great. This podcast.
That's good. I think the Edmondson role is something that the Canadians have missed, because the only guy that had any cojones was Weber. But I think he's past that in his age, in his mentality. He plays a certain way, but just doesn't do that anymore, because it's just, you needed the Shaws. You needed those guys to do it. Edmondson is that perfect guy. He's in the 4 spot right now, 3-4. I think he'll end up being on the 5-6 eventually, but anywhere in there. They're all interchangeable, and I love the back end right now. It's one of those things that some players have it and some players don't, but the penalty wasn't good enough. Like, I don't care that you got 5 minutes. And this is not so much a lesson you're going to get that guy, but this is something for your teammate to say that I'm not satisfied with that. That's not going to happen again. It's for the other guys on your team to say, I got your back. And it's tell everybody else, F you. It's kind of like you need that. You need that mentality of F you. You need that. I don't know if you guys are swear. I'm going to say it anyways, but that fuck you mentality. You need that. You need that we're winning. I don't care what you are. You hit my guy, I'm going to hit you back. And if I don't hurt you, I'm going to hurt somebody else on your team. And if you do this to us, I'm going to do that to you. You don't want to be the guy to start it. You want to play your style and play really hard and play mean and play physical. But if someone's going to be dirty to you, you're going to be double dirty to him. And if he doesn't pay the price, you're going to let him know that what he did, someone else on his team is going to pay the price for it. And that's kind of, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I know it's not in the game anymore, and we understand so much of the reasons why, because the head situations and all that stuff. But it's one of those things that the game misses to a certain extent, and as long as it played out the way it was played out the other night, it's perfect.
Yeah, and what's also interesting, because that mentality is sometimes it's your top players. You mentioned Weber or a Ben Sherratt, guys that play big minutes for your team. You could have Milan Lucic stepping up to Josh Anderson, and you're like, well, is it worthwhile Anderson leaving for 5 minutes and Lucic? No, the Canadians will lose out on that. But because of the depth on their team, they don't feel the loss anymore. You're not playing a guy that was an AHL player or a fourth-line guy, because their fourth-line guys are third-line players. So if you miss a top-6 guy, you have a guy to fill in for 5 minutes. It really doesn't it's not worth it for 5 minutes. Anybody, Shea Weber can go to the box for 5 minutes and the Canadians will be fine. 2 years ago, that was not the case.
The depth. But I'm going to ask you guys a question as I go lower the blind, because this whole side of my face is white as I see. Are they – on RDS the other night, I used – I'm not sure if this is a mirage. Like, are they this good? Or is the league or is their division that weak? Or is just like, when everything's working? Like I can't tell you something that's going. Josh Anderson has 2 goals where he bats the puck out of the air, skating full speed. Like, how many times is that going to happen? Toffoli scores a goal. I know they have 5 shorthanded goals, more than any team in the National Hockey. I think 14 or 13 teams don't have that many power play goals. Toffoli scores no goals and gets 5 in 2 games. And the other night against Riddick was just throw it on net, and the goalie's going to just miss it. Like, it's just everything is working their way right now. And I don't know if they're really this good, or if the everyone's just struggling that much more. But it's kind of confusing when is it is everyone going to pass them or catch up, or are they just this good for the rest of the year?
Well, just
Gallo?
to answer it very quickly, I think, Campbell, they are that good. And the reason I say that is because of the division that they play in. Like, they've put up the points, and they're in good standing right now. They haven't even had the chance to play the Ottawa Senators. Like, the Senators, from what I've seen, they're brutal. So the Canadiens should be able to bank a ton of points against that team. And I just think that, the division that they play in is a big part of it. They've only had to play Toronto once. They haven't had to play Winnipeg yet. So there's going to be some big tests down the road. But I think obviously not everything's going to turn up Canadians all season like PJ's talking about. Like, everything is going their way. Every bounce is going their way. But I think they're a really good team.
Well, yeah, some of those things that come through, though, are Armia gets hurt and Corey Perry gets a point a game that, since he's come back, and he even looks, even better or a more perfect fit next to Kotkaniemi and Toffoli. And that was the reason why they got him, so that the transition is that they're turning to NHL players and not AHL players. But I think they're good, and they're showing what they're supposed to be. Are they this good? I don't think they're going to score at this rate all season long. Their shooting percentage is through the roof. Most teams shoot at an 8-9 percentage. They're at 14. That's going to come down. They're not going to have 4 or 5 goals a game. But when that happens, is Carey Price and Jake Allen going to get even a little bit better? Because maybe they haven't needed to be that great. So I think they're that good. I don't think there are teams that I am a little disappointed in that I've seen. A little bit disappointed in Edmonton. I thought I'd see a little bit more. I know they have goaltending problems. Vancouver.
You know what?
Vancouver was a train wreck, and 3 games against Ottawa, I don't think it's going to fix that long term for them. I think Winnipeg's pretty tough. Calgary's going to be fine. They look like a pretty good team, and you know what Toronto can do. It's an interesting division.
PJ, what are you going to say about Edmonton?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know where I'm going to get in trouble with this right now. McDavid has to do more. I know it's going to sound completely crazy. Okay,
not more, all of it. He has to do it all.
No, but he has to do the defensive side of the game as well right now, because his team's always struggling. So he's got to be. It's not that he's not a 200-foot player. It's just that he's always looking at the team struggling. So he's always looking to cheat, because we need goals because of the way we play. You can't anymore. The successful teams have that guy that's a 200-foot player. The Bergeron, the Taves, the Kopitar, the O'Reilly. I think it's Draisaitl is that guy in Edmonton. I don't like. You can say whatever you want. They probably have the 2 most complete guy. Well, not complete, but 1-2 punch. I don't think. Is it Crosby and Malkin, or would you take Draisaitl and McDavid? It's a solid question.
Yeah.
But you know that what Crosby's going to give you all over the ice. I don't know if I get that enough from those 2 guys in Edmonton. And they've been in the league enough to understand that. Crosby makes a bunch of his no-name wingers, and no disrespect to the guys. But it's not as if they're playing with Ovechkin. They take guys and carry
Dupuis,
those
Russ, Gensel, you name it. They just
I'm not seeing that in Edmonton. All we do is complain about who they're playing with, and they don't have players to play with, and that's the argument. And those 2 guys are playing 22 minutes a night. That's 44 minutes of the night.
Yeah,
that's.
PJ, I think the big issue though with that team is they signed both those guys right out of their entry-level deals to 8-year contracts, paying them massive money. And the Leafs did this too with their guys. And I haven't seen any team have success without benefiting of their star players on team-friendly deals during the early portions of their career before they were approaching UFA status and then signing the big deal. Like Malkin and Crosby, they had years where they were pretty cap-friendly. Same for
they're still cap-friendly.
Yeah, they're under 10 million.
What does Crosby make?
Yeah, 8.7.
8.7. You know what? Who's your? It's kind of like you can't say Montreal. Can't say Montreal, okay? But who's your favorite to win the cup, or your top 2 or 3 teams?
I would say Tampa, Vegas,
Colorado
right up there. Yeah.
So 2 of those 3 teams. Tampa's caps, but their star players are making reasonable money. They're not making like the Canadians, as much as everyone loves everything about them right now, their goalie makes $10.5 million.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
PJ, look at
that-
the team whose jersey you're wearing right now. I don't think anybody has manipulated the salary cap better than the Boston Bruins. Bergeron,
Yeah.
Marchand, Pasternak,
Yeah.
Rask, they're all on team-friendly deals.
Yeah, and they still couldn't keep
how
Chara.
much is, well, it's not that they couldn't keep Chara.
I
I
know,
think it's a decision that if you're playing in 56 games and pretty much 56 nights, it's a lot of hockey back-to-back, short season. Everyone loves Zdeno Chara, and he wanted a little bit more. They wanted him to be a little bit less, and it's just, it's a lot of hockey, and they didn't think he's in the best shape of almost anyone every year.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But the game's
All right.
going a little bit in a different direction. But the Canadians are. The question before was, why do people love or not love Bergevin? They love him. You love any general manager that wins. Don Sweeney is a buddy of mine in the GM of the Boston Bruins, and when Don first got the job, I was, hey Don, congrats, blah blah blah, and how was it? How's the year? And he goes, it sucked. You know why? I'm like, he goes, because there's only one team that wins. For the other 30 general managers, soon to be 31 general managers in the league, you lost. And your fan base lets you know that you lost.
Even if you went all the way to the final.
Even if you go
Yeah.
all the way to the final and you lose in game 7, and that's the world that you live in. It's hard. So, yeah, but we love them when they're doing well.
All right. So, PJ, look, I want to do this before we're done here on the Post Game Pints podcast. Let you finish your beers.
I'm drinking all your booze.
I know.
You know what? By the way,
Yeah.
this is tough. I will go on the record. I will never encourage anything that both of you do. Maybe Campbell a little more.
Okay. But you're going to go
These
on
are
record.
both unbelievable beers.
Yeah. We're very proud of
I
it
will
and what
go on
Lacrosse
record.
has done. Yeah.
I will go on record and say that these are both unbelievable beers.
Shout out to Dan, who helped us make it. We helped Dan. Dan did most of the legwork. Okay, so at the end of each podcast here, PJ, we like to do a little bit of pop quiz. All right? So I'm going to have pop quiz you. Gallo's going to help you. He doesn't know what the question is. Okay? So Gallo's going to help you on this pop quiz.
Hey. You know what? Don't disrespect me.
Okay.
Gallo's going to help me. Are you kidding me?
You ready?
Gallo's going to help me?
All right. I got 10 names here. I got 10 names.
Okay, like questions on sewing or something? What's
No.
Gallo going to help me with?
All right. I want to know the top 10 NHL scorers in history
In history.
that have played with PJ Stock.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, Gretzky,
Number 1.
LaFontaine,
Number 7.
Eric Lindros?
Nope.
No, I didn't play with Eric.
whoa.
I didn't play with Eric. Go, hold on. The top 10.
The top 10 scores that in NHL history, but they played with PJ Stock. I got 10 names here.
Okay, Joe Thornton.
Number 3.
Okay, so that's the list. I wasn't sure how the list was going. So we have
Yeah.
Gretz, LaFontaine,
Thornton.
Joe
You got
Thornton, Kevin Stevens.
Kevin Stevens did not make the cut. He's like 13.
PJ, I think you're
Kevin-
missing an obvious one unless you didn't play with him.
Yeah.
Messier.
No, I'm just.
You
I
play
didn't
with
play with
Messier?
Messier.
He didn't have
No.
play with Messier. Gallo, you're no
No?
help so far.
Yeah.
You're
Kovalev's
missing number-
not on.
Kovalev, number 5.
Okay. Wow, that's it, eh?
Yeah.
Okay,
7
so
7 of these
with
guys
Mark
are over
Recchi?
1,000 points. Mark Recchi, number
Mark
2.
Recchi.
Mark Recchi, you're
Mark
missing
Recchi's number. Okay.
4 and 6, both over 1,000 points. 8, 9, and 10 under 1,000 points.
Peter Nedved,
Nope.
Brian Leach.
Koivu.
Brian Leach is number 6. You're still missing number 4, 8, 9, and 10.
Yeah,
Koivu.
Sack. I was gonna go Saku.
So not Saku. Nope. Gallows.
Saku
Gallows
was-
dying.
Yeah, Saku wasn't a point. There's not a lot of. I was only a cup of coffee in Montreal, and
There-
no one really there ever put a
there's
point.
one-
Eric Desjardins.
No, but there's one Montreal Canadian, but he's not known to be a Montreal Canadian. Now, you only played 20 games. Here's the thing, okay?
Hold on.
But I'm just giving you a clue why you think. There's a couple of guys I think you played at the same time.
Matt Schneider.
Nope. He might have been at one point of the season yours because you only played 20 games with the Canadians.
Okay, then Dougie Gilmore.
No.
Because hold on, I wasn't there when I was on Montreal. I can tell you the entire lineup. It wasn't Brian Savage. It wasn't Sakic. Trevor Linden.
Boom, Trevor Linden, number 10.
Okay, Trevor Linden. Okay,
all right.
But it's so funny that year when I was in Montreal, they were all injured after 3 games.
But that's it. So there's 3 more. There's 3 more. Number 4, 8, 9. Now look, number 9. You only played 1 game with this team, but I'm pretty sure he played in that game. But I'm not 100% sure. He's the only guy still playing.
Which team did he play 1 game for?
It was the last season.
Hold on.
Only guy still playing.
That I play. Well, Joe Thornton is who I still played with.
Yeah. Well, no, sorry. Only guy still playing that's left. And I assume that 1 game he was playing in, it was his rookie year.
Patrice Bergeron.
You got it. Patrice Bergeron's number 9. All right, so I need number 4 and 8. We're against the clock here, PJ. Hold on. Number 4, Gallo should like him. And number 8 is a coach in the NHL.
John McClain.
Nope.
He's not a coach. It's Rick Tocchet.
Rick Tocchet is number 8. Number 4, Gallo should like him.
He's short or a small wiener. One of the two. You just gave me that sign.
Theo Fleury.
I don't know what it
Darren
is.
Fleury, got it.
Theo Fleury, right.
There you go. The top 10 scorers that played with PJ Stock in NHL history: Wayne Gretzky, Mark Recchi, Joe Thornton, Theo Fleury, Kovalev, Leach, LaFontaine, Tocchet, Bergeron, and Trevor Linden.
It's a pretty good list.
Yeah. Not a bad list, eh?
Yeah.
I don't want to say I helped them all, but
cheers, PJ. Love it.
Them all, boys.
All the buddy.
Congrats.
PJ Stock on the post.
I don't know which one to finish with.
Finish with whatever, man. Just keep going.
Well, how's that for your entertainment value?
They've done their job very, very well.
Awesome!
No.
Come on.
VBF.